with great opportunities and a new hope for our future. Have you considered advertising your business on Sun FM TV with our surprisingly affordable rates? When you advertise on Sun FM TV, you'll also get free equivalent radio advertising spots or shoutouts on Sun FM Radio. For more details, call us on +260 961 205 967 or +260 212 615 341. Email marketing@sunfmzambia.net. It's a new dawn of new affordable advertising packages on Zambia's first and finest visual radio, reaching over 5 million people across the whole country. If you're not advertising on Sun FM TV, then you're probably not being heard or seen. Come on board and advertise with us. Everyone's not only listening, everyone is watching. Your finest radio station is responsible for the dawn of a new era in Zambian broadcasting. Capturing your favorite sounds on radio into great moments on television and on social media. Welcome to Zambia's first and finest visual radio, Sun FM TV.
Sun FM, broadcasting from the Copperbelt capital, Ndola City.
This is your favorite station.
Win namamuli 1 million na ABSA. Play your cards right, Muntu Andy, and you could win big. Simply tap or swipe any of your ABSA cards 5 times in a month, and you could be one of 10 lucky winners to take home a cheap 10-pin in monthly prizes or walk away with a grand prize of 250,000 kwacha. Chaliroku, and you cannot afford to not get lucky. Use your ABSA card to enter the draw. Terms and conditions.
For in-depth news coverage from across Zambia, local and national news, business, politics and sports, this is the Sun FM News, brought to you by ABSA. Your story matters.
The news.
Hello and welcome to Sun FM Radio and TV News. The headlines. President Hakainde Hichilema has extended his deepest condolences to His Royal Highness Paramount Chief Chitimukulu Kanyanta Manga II following the death of his son, Prince Mwamba Kanyanta Sosala, a loss that comes just 3 months after the passing of the prince's younger brother, Prince Kanyanta Sosala. Their governments in driving economic development and restoring moral values in society. The Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security has lauded the release of the 10th edition of the Financial Intelligence Center FIC Trends Report, which highlights notable strides in Zambia's efforts to combat financial crime. 10 to South African side Sekhukhune United just 2 years after leaving the club. The move comes after the expiration of his contract with Zesco United, where he spent the 2023-2024 season. Join me for the details shortly.
The news, 88.5 Sun FM.
With the details, my name is Kyla Brister. President Hakainde Hichilema has extended his deepest condolences to His Royal Highness Paramount Chief Chitimukulu Kanyanta Manga. That comes just 3 months after the passing of the prince's younger brother, Prince Kanyanta Sosala. In a solemn message delivered at the Paramount Chief's Palace by Northern Province Minister Leonard Mbao, President Hichilema expressed sorrow over the double tragedy that has befallen the Bemba royal family and reassured them of the government. Conveyed his sympathies not only to the royal establishment but also to the broader Bemba community and the people of Northern Province, emphasizing national unity in mourning the prince's untimely passing. The Bemba royal establishment holds significant cultural and historical importance in Zambia, and the loss of 2 royal family members in such close succession has touched many across the country. President Hichilema offered prayers for strength and healing, underscoring the nation's solidarity with the grieving family. Vice President Muntalena Lumango has called on Christian leaders across Africa to work closely with their governments in driving economic development and restoring moral values in society. Speaking during the African economies cannot thrive without the active involvement of the Christian community. She noted that the church plays a vital role in advising governments on strategies for inclusive and sustainable growth. The Vice President further urged religious institutions to take a leading role in rebuilding ethical foundations in countries facing moral decline, stressing that spiritual leadership is essential to national progress. The Lead Africa Summit brought together faith-based leaders, policymakers, and development experts to explore ways of integrating Christian values into governance and economic planning across the continent.
Like that. But I like further, better, Job 28:28, the true wisdom. And if you go to the book of James, chapter 3 and verse 17, you will see what kind of wisdom. In fact, in James, it will give you wisdom is in 3 ways. There is worldly wisdom, there is devilish wisdom, there is also godly wisdom. So which wisdom, men of God? Father to God, we talked of wisdom. Which wisdom is lacking? And a lot of times we are using both worldly and devilish wisdom in order to lead. Being clever is not wisdom. But
the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security has lauded the release of the 10th edition of the Financial Intelligence Zambia's efforts to combat financial crime. The ministry says the findings reflect the UPND government's ongoing commitment to building a transparent and accountable financial system. Home Affairs Minister Jack Mwimbu said the report shows a visible reduction in public sector corruption cases compared to other financial crimes such as money laundering, tax evasion, and fraud. He attributed this development to strengthened anti-corruption initiatives and enhanced collaboration among law enforcement agencies. He stated that under President Hakainde Hichilema's leadership, the government has adopted a zero-tolerance stance on corruption, pledging to tackle wrongdoing without exception, whether past, present, or future. The minister further disclosed that tax assessments conducted in coordination with the Zambia Revenue Authority rose dramatically to 28.9 billion kwacha in 2024, up from 1.2 billion kwacha in 2023. He noted that these figures include principal tax, interest, and penalties, which are currently subject to collection. Mr. Mwimbu said the law enforcement based forfeitures and 7 non-conviction based forfeitures. These efforts led to the recovery of assets valued at $2.5 million and 70 million kwacha in properties, as well as 1.5 million kwacha and 24 million from various bank accounts. The minister cautioned that emerging financial threats, including cyber fraud, regulatory evasions, and illicit transactions made via prepaid branded cards, are receiving intensified scrutiny. He also confirmed that illegal timber logging and cross-border cyber crimes involving foreign actors are under investigation, reaffirming the government's resolve to uphold financial integrity and protect public resources, noting that efforts to strengthen monitoring and enforcement mechanisms will continue.
Under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, the government has declared zero tolerance to corruption and committed to fight past, present, and future corruption with no sacred cows, through collaboration with the Zambia Revenue, up from 1.2 billion in 2023, covering principal tax, interest, and penalties.
The Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry has announced a wave of investment interest in Zambia's energy, healthcare and transportation sectors following the success of the inaugural Invest Zambia International Conference, IZIC 2025. Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry Chipoka Mlenga emphasized that ongoing discussions with potential investors are paving the way for transformative partnerships across various segments of the economy. These collaborations, he said, could position Zambia as a regional industrial hub and significantly enhance the quality of investor-friendly environment, highlighting Zambia's rising profile as a top-tier investment destination. Among the notable investors is Global Gases Group, led by Managing Director and CEO Deepak Mehta. The company has expressed strong interest in developing critical infrastructure in the energy and health-forming mobility in Zambia. Representing the company, Chinese Association President Zhang Jiang announced plans to introduce new energy vehicles into the local market. He further stated that EVC will serve as the authorized distributor for 5 leading Chinese NEV brands in Zambia. The company also plans to open multi-brand showrooms in key urban centers across the country. The Opposition Patriotic Front, PF, has announced plans to file a formal diplomatic complaint against the Zambian government with both the Republic of South Africa and the Southern African Development Community, SADC. This follows the circulation of a leaked audio alleged involving Mafinga Member of Parliament Robert Chavinga. Mr. Chavinga is purportedly heard plotting to bribe a South African judge presiding dismissed assertions that the audio was artificially generated. He argued that no AI tool currently can speak fluent Bemba or accurately reference specific individuals with the level of detail evident in the video. Mr. Lubinda expressed concern over the silence of law enforcement agencies, noting that no investigations or official actions have been taken against the MP despite the potentially damaging implications for Zambia's diplomatic relations with South Africa. He further appealed to South African President Cyril Ramaphosa and his government to disregard any representations made by individuals claiming PF affiliation without formal party endorsement.
Is in South Africa. SCC, where are you? DEC, where are you? Police, where are you? A thief has
The Basic Education Teachers Union of Zambia, BETUZ, has endorsed the decision by the Examinations Council of Zambia, ECZ, to eliminate separate answer sheets in favor of integrated question and answer booklets for major national examinations. However, the union has called for rigorous. BETU's Deputy Director, Ritual Mlenga, described the move as a step in the right direction, highlighting its potential to streamline the examination process and reduce incidents of answer sheets being misplaced or detached from their respective question papers. Despite this support, Mlenga cautioned that if not properly managed, controls, particularly during transportation and script marking, to ensure booklets remain secure and intact. The reform was officially announced by Education Minister Douglas Yaganima at a media briefing, where he confirmed that the new format will be rolled out with the 2025 General Certificate of Education (GCE), and initiative forms part of broader efforts to enhance efficiency, reduce malpractice, and improve the overall examination experience for learners and educators alike.
We have analyzed that statement. For us, I think we have noticed no problem because I think it is a decision in the right direction. What we just want to emphasize on is that the security part must be tightened when it comes to the invigilation part. So maybe that is just our fear, to say if we are to go to separate the question paper from the answer sheet, it may be an open door for malpractice. And maybe just an addition is also to ensure that at least the question paper, the answers do not go missing. so that at the end of the day, we have a few learners that are complaining of missing results.
Meanwhile, the Basic Education Teachers Union of Zambia, BETUS, has strongly denied claims made by President Hakainde Hichilema suggesting it held a meeting with the opposition Socialist Party president. While officiating the Civil Servants Allied Workers of Zambia quadrennial conference, President Hichilema remarked that he had heard of a reported meeting between BETUS and the Socialist Party president. However, he emphasized that unions are free to engage with any political party provided they critically assess the leadership's vision and its alignment with national and workers' interests. Following the president's statement, BETUS of the union by James Zulu, a Central Province-based governance activist, prompting the union to publicly clarify its stance. BETUS General Secretary Henry Sinkala has firmly refuted the allegations, stating that any such engagement was unauthorized and not sanctioned by the union. He disclosed being reported to law enforcement agencies. He cautioned individuals against misrepresenting the union in any political setting and reaffirmed BETUS's commitment to neutrality and professionalism in national discourse. The Socialist Party President, Fred Membe, also addressed the issue, confirming that no meeting had taken place with BETUS. He reiterated that his party is committed to engaging with all legitimate representatives of the Zambian people from various sectors and backgrounds. Local economist Kelvin Chisanga has raised alarm over the growing cases of smuggling and tax evasion, warning that the illicit trade is weakening Zambia's economy and undermining national development efforts. Speaking after the recent seizure of 2 trucks involved in tax fraud worth 1.2 million kwacha, Mr. Chisanga said the incident reflects a troubling pattern of fiscal leakage caused by illegal cross-border trade. He noted that the Zambia Revenue Authority ZRA continues to face challenges from sophisticated smuggling networks that exploit weak border enforcement systems, making it harder to collect revenue and protect local industries. He warned that violations of trade protocols under COMESA and the African Continental Free Trade Area could expose Zambia to diplomatic and economic consequences, including loss of access to preferential markets. Mr. Chisanga also highlighted the long-term impact on employment, especially in the formal sector, where smuggling undercuts legitimate business operations. To tackle the issue, he called for stronger enforcement, better border coordination, and the use of advanced technology to monitor and prevent economic crimes.
These incidents of loss of 1.2 million is a clear indication that we have got a growing concern around fiscal leakage, which is caused by smuggling and evasion of tax across Zambia's border. And obviously, this leads to a loss to the country. And what we see in terms of this aspect, that secondly, it will now create threats to national budget, meaning smuggling deprives Zambia's of vital tax income. And obviously, when you look at the industry right this moment, we all of it to be under siege, meaning the local industry will be under siege. Illicit goods that enter Zambia at artificially low prices squeeze out compliant businesses within the local market.
The remarks come amid growing evasion. The Zambia National Farmers Union, ZNFU, has raised serious concerns over the proposed Lands and Deeds Registry Amendment Bill NAB 13 of 2025, warning that the legislation could jeopardize land tenure security for farmers nationwide. In a statement, ZNFU President Jevis Zimba welcomed President Hakainde Hichilema's recognition of long-standing challenges in the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, including the issue of multiple title deeds and land disputes affecting the agricultural sector. However, Mr. Zimba criticized the government for failing to consult farmers during the drafting of the bill, despite their vulnerability to land-related conflicts. A key point of contention is a provision that empowers the Chief Registrar of Lands to administrative risks. ZN and initiate a transparent, inclusive consultation process with all affected stakeholders. The union's appeal comes amid growing public interest in land governance and calls for legal reforms that balance efficiency with fairness. The Community Action Against Corruption (CAC) has called for the resignation of Director of Public Prosecutions DPP Gilbert Piri, accusing him of failing to lead a credible fight against high-profile corruption cases. In a statement, CAC Chief Executive Officer Brighton Tembo criticized the DPP's office and other law enforcement agencies for allegedly allowing suspects in major corruption cases to walk free after surrendering only a portion of their suspected stolen assets, a practice he described as fighting corruption using corruption. Mr. Tembo cited recent media reports involving a former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs who was reportedly allowed to forfeit 23 million kwacha out of 60 million kwacha believed to be proceeds of crime, thereby avoiding prosecution. He also referenced the $24 million forfeiture from the Konkola Copper Mines liquidator, which was settled without conviction. He argued that such outcomes betray public trust and expose deep flaws in institutions such as the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC, Drug Enforcement Commission DEC, and the DPP's office. Mr. Tembo has since urged the government to appoint a more resolute and independent figure to head the DPP's office. The remarks come amid growing public concern over the effectiveness of Zambia's anti-corruption efforts and the need for greater transparency and accountability in prosecuting financial crimes.
The information which is in the media that one of the permanent secretaries was allowed to bring back only 20 witnesses is a very sad situation in corruption fight. The Anti-Corruption Commission and the Drug Enforcement Commission, including the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, have been insisting on using this method, which is not okay in corruption fight. You remember the case of KCM, where the liquidator was only asked to bring back $24 million and he was allowed to go scot-free. So that is not the right way to fight corruption. So we can only appeal, to the Director of Public Prosecutions to resign if he thinks this is the only method which is very amicable to fight executive crime.
The Zambia Information and Communications Technology Authority, ZICTA, has reaffirmed Zambia's position as the most affordable country for mobile data within the Southern African Development Community (SADC) and 6th overall when combined with the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa (COMESA). Speaking during a digital inclusion policy dialogue, ZICTA Manager for Innovation and Research Hendrix Miowa dismissed public speculation that mobile data in Zambia is expensive. He cited findings from Mr. Miowa noted that Zambia's cost-based pricing model has become a benchmark, playing a key role in education, business and community development.
Initiatives that are happening in the sector, key amongst these is the cost of service study, which obviously seeks to ensure that at the end of the assessment, all service providers in the sector are offering what are termed as cost-based tariffs. I think my colleague from the Airtel can confirm that after we actually took our first cost of service study, what happened is that basically all headline tariffs dropped in Zambia, an initiative which I think a number of countries in the SADC region are all trying to replicate in terms of lowering the cost of access and usage of various ICT products and services. So, Mr. Moderator, it's actually a point.
TV News, we now take a break. After the break, sports news.
Win na mamuli 1 million na ABSA. Play your cards right, Muntu Andi, and you could win big. Simply tap or swipe any of your ABSA cards 5 times in a month, and you could be one of 10 lucky winners to take home a cheap 10-pin in monthly prizes or walk away with a grand prize of 250,000 kwacha. Chaliroku, and you cannot afford to not get lucky. Use your ABSA card to enter the draw. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters. ABSA.
In sports, Zambian international goalkeeper Tostan Sabata has made a dramatic return to South African side Sekhukhune United just 2 years after leaving the club. The move comes after the expiration of his contract with Zesco United, where he spent the 2023-2024 season. The 31-year-old short stopper has signed a 2-year deal with the Limpopo-based outfit, aiming to reclaim his spot AFCON 2025 in Morocco. Sabata previously played for Sekhukhune United between 2021 and 2023, making 31 appearances, keeping 14 clean sheets and conceding 29 goals. His stellar performances earned him a nomination for PSL Goalkeeper of the Season in his debut campaign. After 2 solid seasons, he returned to Zambia to join Zesco United, but his stint was brief. With this contract now expired, Nsabata rejoins Sekhukhune United as a free agent, replacing outgoing Ivorian goalkeeper Ali Badra Sangare. The club welcomed him back warmly, stating that fans will be eager to see him back in action as Sekhukhune prepares for the upcoming season under new head coach Eric Tinkler. To end the news, a recap of the headlines. President Hakainde Hichilema has extended his deepest condolences to His Royal Highness Paramount Chief Chitimu Kanyanta Manga II following the death of his son Prince Mwamba Kanyanta Sosala, a loss that comes just 3 months after the passing of the prince's younger brother Prince Kanyanta Sosala.